Hello guys, good afternoon. So this is the recording for session number 11. We are so advanced in time right now. So it's been 11 sessions since the very first session. Well, 10 sessions, counting the first one. But at this point, my methodology and how we've been working like for the last 2 months now. It's crazy to think that we are a week apart from the first midterm, which is going to be March the 3rd, I think so. Yes, or the 4th, depending on your timing. So today I wanted to record this video. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to the live session, which is something that I really enjoy because I get to like interact with you and to also like clarify some of the questions you may have based on your homeworks or class assignments or anything. But today, as I said in the audio, I couldn't make it. And if you're group B, I'm not going to be able to make it because I'm going to have another meeting. So this week is going to be quite difficult and stuff because I have like a couple of things to things at the same time I'm teaching. So that's why I'm going to record this video and to let you know like what you're going to do during this lesson and activities. Good news for today's session, we are now going to cover a core question. So we don't have core question. Good news that for today's lesson, we don't have materials to read. That's really nice. And good news, you don't have a segment of activity that is an extra activity. So everything that you have to do is, if you have the time right now to do it, do it. Because, like during the class, you can perfectly finish all of the activities and then you'll be free. We are going to continue with the second part of a bar for the ages, which is basically the material that we introduced previous class with the synchronous class as well. So let me just share my screen so I make sure you know what I'm talking about, and I don't want to be talking about anything and nothing and everything and nothing at the same time. All right, so one more time, make sure you go to the right spot, which is level number 2, the English Renaissance, and then you go to session number 4, which is, I'm sorry, it's session number 5, a bar for the ages. So you click here in the second part, part 2. What you do is like, make sure it says session 11. I'm sorry for this. I'm going to correct this. Session 11, and it needs to say like February the 22nd or February the 23rd, depending on the group you belong, whether it's B, A, or B. All right. So the next thing you're going to do is read the competence you're going to develop, and we're going to still talking about like Shakespeare and the contribution of Shakespeare to British theater. Previously, in the previous session, we talked about the impact of Shakespeare in British literature, but in a more lyrical way, in the impact of sonnets, and we have Shakespearean sonnets. But this time around, we're going to talk about contribution of Shakespeare to theater through plays and through the different content that you might be familiar and you might know Shakespeare for. Unfortunately, if you're expecting us to cover Romeo and Juliet, we are not covering Romeo and Juliet since this is a story you are pretty much familiar, and at some point in your language course or any kind of involvement that you have like with literature back in high school, you're familiar with Romeo and Juliet. So that's why I decided not to cover Romeo and Juliet, but we're going to cover Hamlet and Macbeth, which is our two of the most iconic plays by William Shakespeare. So, all right. So the instructions for today's session is you are going to, this is an asynchronous lesson, complete the activities and review the content of study. Complete all of the following TED lessons. Previous time, you have a series of videos that you need to watch the video, and then you have to have some comments, video for video number 1, video number 2, and so on. You have different tasks and questions to answer. For this lesson, it's going to be quite different. And I designed this lesson in the way that you have interaction with a TED lesson. And you're not going to have only one interaction, but you're going to have 5 interactions. All of them are related to William Shakespeare. So make sure you complete the task in order. So you have the lesson number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. The first one is a video, it's a TED lesson that says why you should read Macbeth. Number 2, it says, why should you read Hamlet? And number 3 is, did Shakespeare write his play? Number 4, insults by Shakespeare. And number 5, why Shakespeare loved iambic pentameter. If you recall, guys, if you remember from previous sessions, we were talking about the different styles that we cover in the rhythm and the difference between Shakespearean or Spenserian pentameter or the use of the pentameter. I must correct myself, the use of the pentameter. And in this TED, you are going to kind of evaluate and explore a little bit about this particular subject. All right, so in here, next to the link, you're gonna find how long the video is. For example, you have a 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, and 5 minutes. In total, you are going to invest just for watching the videos from 20 to 30 minutes. So make sure you have a connection that is stable enough to be with videos 25 to 30 minutes. All right, so I'm going to show you, and you are already familiar with this TED lessons and the format of it, but I'm going to show you how it actually looks. Why should you read Macbeth? That's the question, to be or not to be. But the question in here, why should you read Macbeth? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to watch. Remember, you have to follow the steps. Then you have to think. And you have the following questions: multiple choice, multiple choice, multiple choice. Some of them are in order to answer them, like open questions. And then make sure you save whenever you answer an answer, you save my answer. All right, you click on save my answer button. Once you finish the section, if you want to know a little bit more about the particular thing, there is a reading that is complimentary reading, and then you can find more information about, for example, here's a list of films inspired by the play Macbeth, and then you have the different plays in here. And then in the discussion, some of the TED lessons, they have a discussion, but in here it says, does Macbeth sound like a play that is still politically relevant in our times? Yes, no, and why? If you say, oh yes, I still consider that some of the topics that Macbeth covered in the lesson or in the session are still relevant because of blah blah blah. I think William Shakespeare created an important pattern of topics. I'm sorry for that, guys. I apologize because it's just traffic. And anyways, I was saying that, for example, you can say, oh, mister, I think that like William Shakespeare created a pattern of topics with this theme that are still relevant because of this. Or you can say, oh, mister, you can perfectly picture this example in today's society, and that is reflected in Macbeth. Because of time, I cannot read Macbeth and Hamlet because the only session that I have for this is this one. So I cannot actually ask you to go and read the whole play, which if it's up to you guys. If you want to explore, you want to expand your knowledge on it, like go ahead. I'm not gonna stop it though. But the question is gonna be there. What you're gonna do is like you're gonna view discussion and then you're gonna answer. It's like a correct question, but not a correct question. Because I said like, we're not having correct questions for today's class. But like once you finish, you watch the video, remember the steps are, you watch the video, you think about it by answering the questions, the multiple choice and the open selection. Then if you want to explore a little bit more, then you can do it. And then you have one guided question. Once you click submit, you have it. Great. So now you completed lesson number 1. let's go to lesson number 2. You do the same thing. You watch, you think, you explore a little bit more. And then in this one, you have another question. What is the role of madness in Hamlet? If you don't know what madness is, go and look for it. If you don't know the connection, go and look for it. Because if you have the resources, go and use the internet, guys. If you don't know what is this talking about, go and read. But read, don't copy and paste, because some of you, the only thing that you do is you copy and paste, and you even copy the link, you even copy the source. Guys, take the time to do your job. If you're going to cheat, do it properly, guys, all right? So that's the thing that you're going to do. Now we have this one, did Shakespeare write his play? And we have another video, same process, multiple choice, but some of them, let me see, some of them, they don't have discussion questions, so you don't have to answer any of the questions over there. The first two, yes, they do have one discussion question. All right, then you go to number 4, Insults by Shakespeare. You do the same thing, you watch, you think, you explore, but in here, you don't have any discussion to complete. Let's continue. Number 5 is gonna be the same one. You watch, you think, you explore, and then you don't, oh yeah. In this one, yes. So number 1, number 2, and number 5, they have discussion questions. Number 3, number 4, they don't have discussion questions, all right? So, but in this one, it's pretty simple, guys, because it says, like, many students complain that Shakespeare is too hard to read and doesn't have much relevance in modern society. Is it possible? The question is it possible to learn from something even if you don't understand every word of it? And probably you're very familiar with it, because like even if you don't know all of the words, all of the vocabulary, all of the expressions, all of the context, all of the situation, all of the physical, metaphysical, or psychological schemes of the writing, you still can interact, or you don't like to interact with the text. So the question is it possible to learn from something even if you don't understand every word it says? All right, and that's the question. You say, I think it's possible because I speak English and sometimes I don't understand this, or blah 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 blah, and I think I can do this. And then that's gonna be your opinion. So that's the whole lesson for today's class. You're not going to have extra material. You're not going to have a core question, but you're going to have like this lesson that you are going to explore the topic, answer, and discuss, and explore a little bit more if you want to. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure. I hope to see you at some point during the week. I'm going to let you know if you're going to have next session a live session or it's going to be an asynchronous session. Please, the deadline for this is you have till Friday well, I mean, I'm going to give you the whole week actually. You have the whole week to complete the assignment, the 5 lessons, lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I recommend you, however, to do it right now during your time of the class, the time that the class is scheduled. Because since this is an asynchronous class, this class substitutes the live interaction. So if you have the time, because I know that you have the time because you're scheduled to be with me at this point, please complete the activity. All right? It's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you very much. Take care. Behave. It costs nothing to you. See ya.